The kiss that changed everything. The sun was setting over the red desert. The sky turned orange and the wind was silent. In the middle of nowhere stood a small research station. It was built around something very old, an alien statue found, buried deep under the sand. Scientists had worked there for months. Nothing happened. No movement, no sound. Just silence. Inside the research camp, 23-year-old Evan cleaned the floor near the alien statue. He was an intern, not a scientist. His job was boring: sweep the floors, clean the lenses, and make coffee. But tonight, Evan felt playful. He looked at the tall alien statue. It was made of black stone with strange glowing lines. It had a human-like face, eyes closed, lips sealed. People believed it was over 1,000 years old. Evan laughed and said, "So serious, Mr. Alien. You could at least smile." His friend Mira, another intern, joked, "Why don't you give him a kiss? Maybe he'll wake up and fall in love." Everyone laughed. Evan rolled his eyes. "Fine, I'll do it, for science." He stood on a small crate, leaned forward, and kissed the statue lightly on the lips. At first, nothing happened. Then, a soft hum began. A blue light pulsed from the lines on the statue's body. The air felt heavy. The temperature dropped. Evan stepped back. "Guys, what's happening?" The statue's eye, sealed for 1,000 years, suddenly opened. It glowed bright blue. The mouth moved slowly, and then it spoke. In a deep, echoing voice it said, "You have awakened me and doomed your species." Silence fell. Everyone froze. Myra whispered, "Did it just talk?" The lights in the room flickered. The computers beeped. One of the monitors showed a signal going out from the station, an unknown transmission, shooting into space. Evan looked terrified. "I didn't mean to do anything. It was just a joke." The lead scientist, Dr. Harlan, rushed into the room. "What did you touch? What did you activate?" The statue's eyes locked onto Evan. "Your DNA matched the signal key." "My rest is over. The judgment begins." Alarms started ringing. From the main control room, another researcher shouted, "Sir, something just left Earth's orbit, some kind of response signal. It's going toward deep space. Fast." Dr. Harlan stared at the screen. "This isn't just a statue. It's a beacon, a sleeper unit." "What does that mean?" Mira asked. "It means," Harlan said slowly, "it was waiting for someone. It's waiting for a human to wake it." Outside, the wind began to howl. The sand moved unnaturally, swirling. Around the base, the statue turned its head, creaking like stone breaking. "The others will hear," it said. "They are watching. They have always been watching." Evan stepped back. "What others?" The statue said nothing. Its eyes slowly closed again. The blue lights faded. Dead silence. The computers kept beeping. The transmission continued, in space. Far above Earth, a hidden satellite powered on. It had not activated in over 1,000 years. Now, its lights turned green. It sent a signal into the darkness of the galaxy, thousands of light years away. Something heard the signal. Something old, something waiting, back at the base. No one moved. Dr. Harlan turned to the team. "We need to contact NASA immediately." Evan sat on the floor, his hands shaking. "I didn't mean to, I swear." Mira sat beside him. "You kissed a 1,000-year-old alien statue, Evan? That's not something most people do." He looked at her. "But what does it mean? What happens now?" The screen flickered again. A new signal appeared, this time from outside Earth. "A reply," Harlan whispered. "They heard us." The camera zooms out, past the base, past the sky, past the orbit of Earth. Deep in space, a dark shape moved between the stars. Massive. Silent. Alive. The narrator's voice fades in. "They said first contact would bring peace, but this was a warning. Asterisk. It didn't begin with the kiss. It began 1,000 years ago. On a cold planet, far from Earth, under 2 red suns, in a dark chamber filled with statues like the one on Earth, an alien elder spoke to a group of glowing beings. If they wake us before they're ready, the test begins." 1,000 years later on Earth, a single kiss had done just that. The desert sky was no longer quiet. At the research base, strange signals filled the air. Machines beeped screens, glitched, and the statue that had spoken is now silent again. But its words still echoed. You doomed your species. Dr. Harlan stood at the control center. He stared at the transmission logs. Something out there received our signal, and now something is coming. Evan sat in a corner, still pale. I kissed a statue. That's it. How can that doom Earth? Harlan didn't answer. He was staring at the screen. A new symbol had appeared in the data and alien mark. It looked like a spiral wrapped in flame. It's a warning, he said. Or maybe a countdown. Suddenly, Mira ran into the room. You need to see this. Everyone rushed outside, above the base. In the sky, a strange light shimmered for a second and vanished. It wasn't lightning. It wasn't a satellite. It looked like a tear in the sky. And something had looked back, Dr. Harlan whispered. They're scanning us. Back inside, the team began decoding the statue's last message. Using sound waves, heat signatures, and the alien markings on the base, they unlocked a second voice. This one, deeper, older, the voice said. You open the gate of judgment. One will arrive. Your world will be measured. If it fails, it ends. Mira looked at Evan. Why you? Why did your kiss activate it? Evan didn't know. That night he had a dream. In the dream, he stood on a stone bridge in space. The other side stood a tall figure wrapped in light. He reached out and whispered his name. Evan, the key is in your blood. He woke up, sweating. Dr. Harlan had news. The team had found something beneath the base, hidden under layers of rock. Another chamber, Evan, Mira, and Harlan entered it. Inside, they saw carvings on the walls, showing humans and aliens together. One carving showed a human kissing a statue. Underneath it read in alien script, the test of the heart. Harlan stared. This isn't random. This was meant to happen. Evan stepped closer. As he touched the wall, it glowed. A hologram appeared. It showed Earth, then zoomed out. Past the solar system, past the galaxy, toward a distant star system, where something big was moving. The hologram focused on a ship, massive, dark, alive, and heading for Earth. Suddenly, a voice echoed in the room, different from before. Softer, female. You still have time.
Ow.
One path remains, but it comes with a price. Then silence. Evan turned to Mira. We're being judged by something we don't understand. Mira nodded. Need to find out what the test really is. Back on the surface, satellites picked up another signal. This time it came from the moon, a base that was once thought abandoned and old lunar. Mining station had just powered on for the first time in 30 years. NASA confirmed. Something just woke up on the moon. Dr. Harlan looked at the sky. There's more than one statue. Evan's heart sank. If one kiss can doom Earth, what will two awaken? The camera zooms out once again. This time we see a row of statues. Not one, not two, but hundreds. Sleeping, waiting, watching. Voice returns. The kiss was not a joke. It was a key. And now the door is open. It was not Earth that noticed first. It was a planet with no name, orbiting a dying star, where machines still listened after 1,000,000 years. When the signal from Earth passed through its sky, the machines turned on. One sent a single message into space. Earth has failed the test. Back on Earth, the world had changed in just 72 hours. The media didn't know the truth yet. They called it a solar disturbance. Governments called it a high-level cosmic event. But in secret, leaders were panicking. At the desert research base, Dr. Harlan stared at the countdown on the screen. A signal alien in origin was growing stronger, and it was ticking down. Time remaining, 71 hours. 42 minutes. Evan sat beside Mira in the dark lab, watching news clips of satellites glitching and birds falling from the sky. This is my fault, he said. I kissed that thing. World's dying. Mira shook her head. I know. It was always going to happen. You just triggered it. Dr. Harlan turned from the monitor. It's not about the kiss. It's about the key. Evan, something in your blood woke that statue. Now the system is checking Earth. Checking for what? Evan asked. The same thing it checked for 1,000 years ago on another world? Harlan paused. That planet doesn't exist anymore. Meanwhile, deep in the Atlantic Ocean, another signal was found coming from a trench too deep for any sub to reach. It pulsed like a heartbeat. The message repeated in broken radio waves. Awakened. Awakened. Begin judgment. Space telescopes captured something moving toward Earth, not a ship, but a shadow, long, wide, and unnatural. It was warping the stars behind it. NASA's official response: silence. But insiders leaked images of a structure entering the edge of the solar system. It looked like a ring rotating slowly with something in its center. Back at the base, Mira found something. In the carvings from the hidden chamber, one symbol had changed since yesterday. It was now glowing. It showed two paths. 1. Fire-consuming Earth. 2. A gate opening with light pouring out. What does it mean? Evan asked. Harlan replied. It means we have a choice. We're running out of time to make it. Suddenly, an emergency alert echoed through the base. A voice spoke from the intercom. This is Global Defense. We have detected a new structure on the moon. Mira gasped. Another statue? No, Harlan said. A transmitter. It's calling something. Evan had another dream that night, but it felt real. He stood in a white room floating in space. A voice, soft and layered, spoke from the walls. You are not being punished. You are being tested. Your world stands on the edge of fire. Show us something we have never seen, or be erased. He woke up shaking. There's a countdown, he whispered. It's not just time, it's a challenge. The team uploaded all alien carvings to a global research cloud. Within hours, linguists, hackers, and AI systems around the world started analyzing them. A pattern emerged. The countdown was not just a timer. It was a story code left behind by an ancient race. Each hour, the code changed. Each hour, it showed more, and then a message appeared at the 66-hour mark. Phase 1 complete. Judgment. Ship en route. Earth. Second review initiated. The judgment ship. Myra looked at Evan. If they've done this before, 2 other species, maybe someone survived. Maybe we can find them. Evan nodded. We need to go beyond Earth. There's something out there, a way to speak with them. Dr. Harlan agreed then. We need a ship. And we need to go now. He opened a secured file. On his screen, a project abandoned years ago. A prototype spacecraft hidden in Antarctica. Its name. Prometheus-Vi, Mira whispered. We're going to space? Harlan said no. We're going to the place where the test was first written. Final shot. A satellite camera zooms out, passing the Earth, passing the moon. Until it reaches the edge of the solar system, there floating in the darkness is the judgment ship. It's not made of metal. Like a god's skeleton built into a machine, it opens one eye. It is seen. Earth, the narrator's voice returns. The countdown began the moment he kissed the statue. Now, it ends with the stars watching. Asterisk long before Earth had cities, it had secrets. Before the pyramids. Before the wheel. A man disappeared into the sky and was forgotten by time, until now, deep beneath the Antarctic ice. Project Prometheus-Vi came alive again. The spacecraft, half machine, half unknown metal, was not made by humans. It had been found, not built, buried under ancient layers. Only a few knew it existed. Now, it was Earth's last hope, Evan, Mira. And Dr. Harlan stepped inside. The ship responded instantly. The lights turned on. The walls shifted, scanning Evan's face. A soft hum whispered from the ship's core. Genetic match. Human origin confirmed. Timelink restored? Timelink. Mira asked. The ship opened a panel. Inside was a journal, old, worn, handwritten. Doctor. Harlan slowly opened it. The pages were in English. But the first entry was dated year 932. Earth. Flashback minus 1,000 years ago, his name was Kale. He was a healer from a small village in ancient northern Europe. One night, the sky cracked open with light. A sphere of metal landed in the forest. Kale touched it. He vanished. The people said he was taken by the gods. They were almost right. Kale woke up on a ship, surrounded by light and voices in his mind. "You are the first," the aliens said. "You are curious.
How? You do not fear the unknown.
You will help us." They showed him stars, languages, visions of worlds. They gave him knowledge, and a mission helped them build the test. One day humanity would be ready. One day someone would come after him. Back to present day, Evan flipped through the journal. Kale's words were clear. They told me I would not age while I worked, that I would sleep and wake when the earth was ready. If you are reading this, you must find the gate of the first memory. Dr. Harlan looked up. He's talking about another location. Mira checked the map Kale drew. It pointed to the Amazon rainforest. Not a city. A temple, hidden by time, guarded by design. Back at the research base, strange things began to happen. The statue, silent since the kiss, now moved slightly each hour. Its lips parted. Its hand twitched. The spiral countdown on Earth's screens reached 48 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. And then, Earth's magnetic field shifted for 7 seconds. Animals panicked, planes rerouted, satellites blinked. The judgment ship had entered the solar system. Evan, Mira, and Harlan flew to the Amazon site. It was unmarked on all maps. With help from the journal, they found a door hidden beneath the roots of an ancient tree. It opened. With a touch from Evan's hand, inside, they found carvings. Humans, aliens. Together, one carving showed Kale, older now, standing with the first alien statue before it turned to stone. Mira stepped forward and gasped. One carving looked exactly like Evan. Same eyes, same mark on the wrist. Harlan whispered, "He's not just connected, he's descended." Evan blinked. Kale was my ancestor. The walls answered. A voice Kale's voice echoed from the chamber. "If you've come this far, you must understand. The test is not of strength, it is of memory.
Ow.
A world that forgets its soul will be erased, but a world that remembers will rise." Suddenly, the chamber began to shake. Outside, a beam of light shot into the sky. The judgment ship had seen them, and it had sent something down. A craft landed in the jungle, silent and black. It opened. Inside stood a being with no face. A judge, not made of flesh, but of memory and code. It said one word, present. Devon stepped forward. He felt the voice in his bones. "You will come with me," the judge said. "Where?" Evan asked. Being replied, "To the memory core. The test ends there." Evan looked at Myra and Harlan. "I have to go. Kale left a message for me. I have to finish it." The judge raised its hand and they vanished. Asterisk. Evan opens his eyes in a vast place between stars. Floating islands of memory drift around him. Each one a moment from Earth's history. He sees wars, music, joy, fire, first steps, last breaths. "Hey!" Voice Kale's voice calls again. "One truth can save your world, but you must remember it before the clock runs out." In a place where time did not move, a trial began. There was no courtroom, no judge in a robe, only memories. Billions of them, floating in light. And Evan stood at the center. He was no hero, no soldier, no leader. He had kissed a statue. Was all, but now he was the voice of Earth. The memory core was not a place. It was a living system built by a race older than stars. A machine made of light, truth, and feeling. It saw through lies. It saw what humanity was, and it had begun watching. A faceless being appeared before, even formed from shifting clouds and starlight. It had no mouth, but Evan heard it clearly. "This is not a punishment. This is understanding. You speak for Earth. You carry its memory. Begin." Suddenly, flashes surrounded Evan. A child crying beside rubble in a war-torn city. A scientist discovering a cure. A forest burning. A stranger saving a stranger. a machine choking the sky. We see your kindness. We see your violence. Evan trembled. You're showing me all of Earth? No, the voice said. We are showing Earth to itself. Back on Earth, the countdown ticked. 34 to 12. 5-5. The world was still unaware of the trial above, but strange events were happening. Oceans began glowing for brief moments. Animals moved toward the north as if called. The moon's shadow changed shape. At the research base, Mira and Dr. Harlan worked to trace the signals. They found something horrifying. A second ship larger than the Judgment ship was waiting behind. Saturn, silent, watching, they called it, the final decision, in the core. Evan floated before a wall of living history. He saw Kayla's ancestor arguing with the aliens long ago. Humans are not perfect, Kale had said, but they grow. They learn. They feel. The aliens had answered, one mistake from one world can echo through the stars. Now it was Evan's turn. He looked up. We aren't just war and greed. We make art. We dream. We protect. We cry for people we've never met. The voice replied, words are wind. Show us memory. A new door opened. Evan stepped inside a world built from his own memories. His first birthday, his grandfather teaching him to fix a clock. The moment he kissed the alien statue, and something else, Kale's last message, written into Evan's DNA. A hidden memory passed through generations. Kale appeared beside him. You were never just chosen, Kale said. You were prepared, Evan asked. What do I have to do? Kale pointed to the light. Forgive yourself, then forgive your world. That's the final test. In space, the Judgment ship received the memory transmission. It paused. The second ship, the final decision, began to move. Time remaining, 29 hours, 4 minutes, and 10 seconds on Earth. A strange signal was received across all languages. Every phone, every screen, every satellite, it said one line, your memory has been heard. Await verdict. World leaders panicked. Some wanted to launch nukes into space. Others called for surrender. People didn't understand, but they felt something changing back. In the core, the faceless being returned. Earth is divided, it said, but it remembers love. That is rare, Evan asked. Then, are we forgiven? The being tilted its head. Forgiveness is not given, is proven. A final vision appeared. 2 Earths. One turned black and empty. One niggling with light. The voice spoke one final line. Your species stands at the edge. Make your final choice. One act will decide everything. Asterisk. It started with silence. No explosions, no invasion, just silence. The kind that feels like the world is holding its breath at exactly midnight. Every city on Earth saw the same thing. Not a ship. Not a light. A symbol written across the night sky in stars. A spiral wrapped in flame. It wasn't natural. It wasn't human. It didn't belong to Earth. For the first time in history, every religion, every science lab, and every person agreed on one thing. This was the end. Or a test. Inside the underground launch bay in Antarctica, the Prometheus Vi was ready. The ship, half human and half alien tech, had only one flight in it, and it wasn't coming back. Dr. Harlan stood in front of the crew, Evan, Myra, and 2 others, one pilot, one systems engineer. Once you launch, Harlan said quietly, you're alone. There's no rescue, no backup. No Earth signal, Mira asked. Where exactly are we going? Harlan showed the image, a structure orbiting. Near the edge of the solar system, it wasn't made by humans. It looked like a massive ring of floating stone and crystal, rotating slowly. Humming like it was alive. They called it the failsafe. Flashback. Kale's journal had one final entry. If Earth is found unworthy, the Judgment ship will signal the eraser. But there is one device built in secret meant for this moment. It can only be activated by a direct descendant. Cannot stop the trial. But it can offer Earth one final word. Mercy. As the countdown reached 16 hours, Prometheus Vi launched. The earth grew smaller behind them, in the quiet of space. Evan stared out the window. His hands shook. Not from fear. It's from hope, thin and fragile. Mira sat beside him. "Do you really think this will work?" Evan nodded. "I don't know, but it's the only option left." Meanwhile, back on Earth, chaos spread. People gathered at coastlines staring at the sky. Some prayed, some partied, some just waited, but in one moment, across continents. Every child under 10 looked up at once and said the same word. Listen, no. One taught them that. No one knew why. But something, or someone, was speaking to the youngest first. The Prometheus crew reached the failsafe. It wasn't a ship. It was a living machine, like a cathedral built for gods. Its entrance opened without force. Inside, there were no controls, no computers, just a single pedestal and a chair. Made of glowing crystal, a voice echoed, "Only one. The descendant must. Sit, the others must leave." Mira grabbed Evan's hand. "You don't have to do this." Evan looked at her. "But I do. It's not just about blood. It's about memory. Kale's and mine." He stepped forward and sat in the chair. It lit up. A beam shot through his chest, but it didn't hurt. It downloaded his entire life memories, feelings, dreams, mistakes. Then, a new countdown began. Final window, 3 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds suddenly. Evan found himself standing in front of the judgment ship, not in space, but in mind. The faceless being from the core appeared again. It asked, "Why should Earth survive?" Evan didn't give a speech. He just said, "Because we remember pain and still choose love, as we destroy and still rebuild. Because we're not finished yet." Silence. The being slowly raised its hand. Everything shook. Light cracked through space. Earth waited. And then, final scene, back on Earth. The countdown stopped at 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 1 second, and froze. The spiral in the sky vanished. The stars returned to normal, and for the first time in days, the world exhaled. No ships came, no voice spoke, but in every heart, a message appeared. The test is not over, but Earth has chosen. Part 7 will decide what becomes of you. Mira sat alone in the Antarctic snow, staring up at the sky. Evan didn't come back, not yet. She placed her hand on the frozen ground and whispered, "We're still here." Before time was counted, choices still mattered. Before humans stood, before planets formed, something watched, not a god, not a machine. Something ancient, born from light and silence. The witness it had seen galaxies rise and fall.
Oh.
Now it stared at Earth. One small world. One final decision. Evan floated in darkness. He had no body, no breath. Inside the failsafe, he had given everything: his memories, his bloodline, his truth. Now he waited, and the witness arrived. It did not speak with words. It showed him visions. Earth broken and burning. Earth healing and alive. Earth silent. Forgotten. Then one more image. A young girl, laughing, holding a flower. Alone, on a green hill. "Who is she?" Evan asked. The witness answered with a single pulse of light. "She does not exist." Yet back on Earth, silence had replaced fear. The countdown was gone. The judgment ship was still, as if listening. In cities, people waited, but not with panic, with something else. Awareness, for the first time. The world remembered what it meant to be human. They didn't know Evan was still alive. They didn't know he was speaking to something older than creation. But somehow, they felt it. In the memory realm, the witness showed Evan a final test. Not a weapon, not a question, a mirror. It reflected every part of humanity: kindness, cruelty, hope, hunger, fire, forgiveness. "Choose," said the witness. "One truth. Only one. It will echo through time." Evan closed his eyes. He did not choose greatness. He did not choose perfection. He whispered the only truth worth saving. "We try again." That moment, light spread like a sunrise across the solar system. The judgment ship blinked once, then twice. and it disappeared. The stars returned. The spiral vanished forever, and deep. Beneath the earth, the alien statue turned to dust. Myra stood alone on the frozen base, watching the sky. She had waited days. She had hoped now. She only whispered, "Goodbye, Evan." But then her earpiece crackled. Static, then breathing. Myra, what did I miss? She dropped to her knees. She dropped to her knees in shock, tears in her eyes. He was alive. Evan had returned, but not from space. From memory, the Prometheus vine never came back. No ship did. But Evan woke up in the same desert where it all began, beside the broken stone where he kissed the statue. Time had passed, but not for him. He stood up, looked at the sky. Everything felt clean, new. Years later, humanity was different, not perfect, but aware. Nations worked together. Children were taught what the spiral had meant, and in museums they kept a single carved stone with the words, "He kissed a statue and saved a species." Somewhere in deep space, the witness watches another world and speaks one final line. Earth remembered what others forgot, not how to fight, not how to build, but how to feel. The test was passed, not by power, but by heart.